Okay. So what I wanted to discuss today is, and we've talked about it a little bit before about the whole um, mindset of how you define yourself or the labels you have for yourself. And I want to go into that a little bit more. I've had some chats with a couple of y'all over this past week, about why, you haven't been successful lately, hitting a kind of a roadblock or a plateau. And a common um, issue that's come up is, when I start talking to y'all and asking you questions, the label that you give yourself is still the same or still very similar to what it was when you first started, and why you even got to a place of unhappiness with yourself in the to begin with. More what I'm talking about. So how, like, in a book, a character gets introduced, and they give you a backstory about this character. The author describes them and gives you a little bit of insight of like their personality, how they think. And as you read a book, you start to visualize this person in your mind. You create this character of what they look like, how they behave. If you had magic powers and you could create this human out of nothing, you'd be able to have this whole person here. And if you imagine yourself as a character in a book, the reason why a lot of you have run into plateaus, or you'll be successful and then the motivation kind of runs out and you find yourself shifting back into old habits, the reason that's happening is because the character that you're currently playing is the same character from before. And what we need to do is what I've told a couple of people over the last week when having a chat is, if I asked you right now to write down and describe yourself as a character in a book or a movie, what would that look like? If you and I have never met and I needed to know everything about you, who you were, and how you thought about life, because I'm a gajillionaire and I'm deciding between 3 people to leave my fortune to, and I don't get to see you. We never get to meet or talk, but I need to find out who the best candidate to get all my stuff is. How would you describe yourself to sound like you are just the best human being possible? And so with that in mind, let's apply that towards, okay, now let's write a book where you're the main character and it's a description of everything that you want to be. How you have little conversations with yourself and you say things like, I wish I was like this, or I wish I didn't behave this way. I wish I didn't think about this. If you find yourself having little chats, saying, I wish, I should have, I could have, I would have, you've heard this, terms before, shoulda, coulda, woulda. But if you use those words, or you find yourself saying, I wish I was more like so-and-so, or, you see a celebrity or a movie star and they are often idolized because of their behaviors, because of how they carry themselves, because of the actions they take in society, you know, how hardworking they are, things like that. What we need to get you to do is stop thinking about yourself as just, you know, simply a mom, a busy mom, or you're just, you know, a wife, or you're just another woman working in society. Like, what is the superhero version of yourself look like? How do they behave? How do they talk? What are the habits that they have? How do they just live life in general? How do they think? You know, the very common thought processes that I hear on a regular basis about the labels you have for yourself, about being a mom, where you have to put everybody else first all the time, and your nutrition, your exercise, your quiet time to create space, it's all negotiable. And it's negotiable and sacrificable, if that's a word, for everybody else's shit instead of being able to focus on you and make it where it is something that is without question. Don't ask, this is what's going to happen, this is how it's going to be. I am going to sit down and have 10 minutes of quiet time in the morning or before I go to bed. I am going to, you know, journal. I am going to make sure that I sit down and talk to my spouse, my coworkers, my friends, my kids, and I'm going to tell them everything about my goals, how I feel, and what I need from them. You know, the person don't, it's common to withdraw in yourself and put on this front about being this mom who doesn't ever have anything going on wrong. You know, you're never sad or depressed or worried or feeling like you're about to snap. You know, you always have to make it look like you've got your shit together. You can't show weakness in front of your kids. You can't show weakness in front of your friends. You can't show weakness to your spouse. And it's because society's given you this label, or you gave yourself this label when you first became a mom of, you know, I'm going to do whatever it takes to give my kid this perfect life, or make sure my family has this perfect life. And in doing so, you've lost the person that you still want to be. You still had dreams as an individual outside of being a mom, outside of being a wife, outside of being a employee somewhere. You've got just goals and dreams within those categories. And when you only label yourself as mom and put everybody else first, you don't get to focus on those other things. And then some emotions get pushed down, or resentment starts to show up, and you find yourself getting mad at your kids for random things because deep down they're the reason why you can't do you. You know, you blame your kids for a lot of stuff, or you blame other people, spouse, coworkers, best friends, you blame other people for things. And really what it boils down to is you're still looking at life out of the same lens of this busy, chaotic, overwhelmed mom, instead of this superhero version of, you know, what is, like, for lack of a good example off the top of my head, like if Wonder Woman, if she was a mom, you know, what would she do? How would she behave? You know, she's like holding baby in this side, feeding it with a bottle, and still, you know, slaying monsters and shit over here, like doing it all. We want to get you to that, you know, level. You can be that person too. You can wake up, kick ass every day, be the best mom, be the best spouse, be a best friend, be the person that everybody comes to with their problems, and still at the end of the day have time for yourself to feel good and reflect about, you know, all the things that you accomplished, and not come up with stories for yourself about why you can't do things, why you have to think a certain way, you know? So that's what I wanted to talk about today. Is seems like it's been a theme lately when I've been having some chats with y'all, is the identity you have for yourself. You know, I talk about that a lot. We have these conversations a lot about what is your current identity and how do you view life, and if you could pull yourself out of your body and watch the movie that is your life, would you be okay with the character that you see playing this role? And the answer is probably no. And if it's not, you're the director of the movie. You get to tell them how to behave. You know, you get to tell them how to stand, how to think, the lines they have to speak. You get to tell makeup, you know, what wardrobe they got to put on. You know, you get to direct everything. But if we don't start trying to take a step back and, you know, look at life from a different point of view and see where you're at and try to figure out that description you have for yourself, what does that character look like, think like, feel like, and come up with a vision, and then we can get that character, we can mold it and start making those changes like a director does in a movie or like an author does in a book. You know, when they go back and they make edits, they probably change some things and they build up this story in their mind about how this person thinks and behaves. And that's what we're going to do with how you play this game of life. That's all it is. Life is just a book, and you're the author and you're writing it, and you are the main character. You get to decide how this story ends, because right now we're still in the middle of the book. You know, a lot of people think, when they think about themselves and where they're at, like they think that's it. This is who I am. This is the decisions I made, and this is just how it's going to be for the next 40 fucking years. Like, you've got a lot of life left. You know, you don't have to behave this way forever. You can totally become somebody different and shift your mindset and become that superhero version of yourself. So, boom, there we go. That's our stuff for the day.